That was for you out there. We had 2 claps. We got a 2-clap sound check.
Right. I thought we were off.
For out there in editor world. Hello, everybody out there in TV world. Welcome to Real Estate Geeks, the Real Pro team here in the Mobile Realtor Studio.
RPT Studios.
I'm Brad Gore, managing partner.
Hello, Ken Bowen, managing partner.
And we're here with senior mortgage consultant.
Special guest.
As our special guest today, we're going to talk about lending. We're going to talk about loans, right?
We're going to talk about loans.
We're going to talk about loans. So, as we get this show on the road, just keep in mind this is brought to you by Face Radio Productions. And we're going to take votes. We're thinking about changing the name of the show, right? We're 3 episodes in. Time for a complete revamp.
Exactly.
We need to just start over. So if you want to put your votes for the name of our show, put those in the comments, along with your questions, and we'll try to answer those in our next episode. So let's get right into it. So here's the big topic, Ashley, we want to bring up. By the way, how's your water?
It's pretty good.
My vanilla latte is delicious today.
There you go.
Good. So myths about mortgages, right? So we hear a lot of them every day. We hear things like you got to have perfect credit, you got to have a lot of money in the bank, and you got to have like no debt. So what we want to talk to you about is what are some of the myths as a senior mortgage consultant that you hear about getting a mortgage and buying a home?
Yeah, well, I hear the same ones that you do. You know, you have to have perfect credit, you have to have lots of money, you have to have all 3 scores, and you can't have anything showing out there. You have to have a co-signer or a co-borrower, but essentially just isn't the case.
So one of the ones that I was really interested in that you just mentioned was that you have to have a co-signer or a co-borrower. And I guess that's coming in where, you know, you might be saying that maybe you're just an individual, one person that wants to go and purchase a home. So what's kind of the myth surrounding having to have a co-borrower? What is that?
Yeah, so a co-borrower is someone who is on the loan, equal to you, is equally responsible for that loan. But you don't have to have one. You can buy a home on your own.
Just as a single individual?
Just as a single individual.
I, Brad, can just go out and just buy a house?
Yeah.
If I meet the criteria,
yes.
Right? Okay. So I think that's a pretty cool kind of piece of information there, that you don't have to wait until there's somebody else. Like whether it's maybe you have a significant other you're going to go buy a home with, or you know, maybe you're just a single person. You don't have to have somebody else step in and co-sign on that loan for you. So basically, at whatever stage of life you are, you can still go out and get that loan to buy a home.
Right, as long as you meet the basic lending criteria, you're good to go to buy by yourself.
So let's talk about some of that criteria. Like one of the things you said, you know, what we talked about was you have to have perfect credit.
Right.
So talk to me about the credit scores a little bit. Basically, what I've heard is you can't have anything on your credit, you can't have any debt, all this, but that's not really true, is it?
No, the big thing with credit is, you know, when you are taking on the responsibility of putting something on your credit, is that you are making those payments on time, and you are taking care of making sure that you're being responsible with your debt and how you are paying it.
So we talk about being responsible with debt. What I kind of think you're saying there is don't go out and buy you know, a bunch of like cars and load up your credit cards with purchases and buy like furniture and TVs.
Say furniture is another big item people always buy.
Yeah, we hear that a lot. You know, basically when you're trying to buy a home, you want to reduce your debt, but it doesn't mean you can't have any debt.
Right. In the lending world, we call the debt to income ratio is something we look at. So that is your debts versus your income, and we will factor in what your housing payment will be. That is allotted into that, and you are only allowed to have a certain ratio before we have to have a conversation about, hey, maybe we need to pay down some debts. But you certainly are allowed to have other debts besides buying a house, as long as you fall within that ratio range.
So one thing I've heard is it's good to have a history. So you do want to have maybe something with a payment on it. So
right.
You have a history that you've been paying some type of debt on time. So really that's kind of what you're looking for, is not necessarily having no debt, but being responsible with that debt.
Right. And I mean, to have a credit score, you have to have history of building credit some way, somehow. Now, if someone has paid off everything and they have scores reporting, that's great. After a certain amount of time, sometimes those scores don't report those. So having a healthy credit life, if you will, and just making sure you're making those payments is what's most important.
I like that. I like that. A credit life.
Yeah.
Right. You got to
That's
your
a
credit
good
life.
term.
You need to be responsible in your credit life. I like that. That's a good little saying there, I think. So, if I was going to go out and I want to establish a good credit score, should I buy a car or should I just get a credit card and put a little on it? Are any of those things better than the others from a lender's perspective? Like, if I go buy a car, is that the best way to show that I'm making a payment and building credit? Or should I just get a credit card and pay on that a little bit? Are they equal? Any of those things is a good way to build that credit score up.
Kind of depends on where you are in your said credit life. If
Okay.
you're not looking to, make another large purchase for a while, a car might be a good option. Or if you're just looking to kind of boost your score, lots of people like to maybe use a credit card and pay for their gas every month and pay it off at the end of every month, or pay for their groceries and pay it off at the end of every month. And those certainly are great ways to help boost your credit score. It's important that you don't want to exceed over half of the amount that you are allotted on a credit card, because that can drive your score down. But you want to make, a payment monthly on it. And if you can pay it off every month, that's great.
I've never heard that before. Do not exceed more than half.
Half of your limit.
Okay. Yeah, that's some good information. I think what I'm really hearing here when we talk about these myths is the myth that you just can't get a mortgage. That's the myth. I mean, anybody in any stage of life can get a mortgage. They may have to do a little bit of work to get there, but there are ways that you can build your credit appropriately and ways that you can reduce your debt appropriately to get you to that point where you can buy a home. So really the thing to do is to do what? It's to go talk to your senior mortgage consultant and find out from them, here are the steps you need to take so that we can get you into the home.
Exactly. It's never harm to anyone to call and have that conversation with me. I always like to help people, kind of guide them through that path if they're not quite ready. We can look at it and give them some ideas of what they can do, where they need to be to buy a home, and follow up with them throughout the process.
Clear up misconceptions and let people know it's not as scary a process as a lot of people feel it is.
Absolutely. And the other one I'd like to touch on is people think you need like 20% down to buy a home no matter what.
Yeah.
Lots of people kind of getting out of school with student loan debt, they probably don't have that 20% to put down in a lot of cases. And there are other ways around that. There's government loans that allow for zero money down. There's grants that allow to help with down payments or closing costs. And so we have all those options available to someone, whether it be someone just getting out of school or just ready to buy a house but doesn't have a huge savings account or doesn't want to touch their savings account. And we can have those discussions if they just call me.
Perfect. Yeah, I've heard that, many times is, they say we just don't have enough money to buy a house. Well, you just need to find the right program for the amount of money that you have.
Right.
Right? Great. All right. Well, hey, that was great. I think we've dispelled all the myths in mortgage lending, don't you think?
I would agree.
So everybody needs to go out there and get a loan today and let's buy you a house, right?
That's right.
Okay, let's move on a little bit here to a little segment since we've got you on the show. Those of you out there know I'm a huge fan of the Wall Street Journal. And I've had a story here in the Wall Street Journal that I was reading about atypical mortgages. Mm-hmm. We heard a lot about this before the recession, right? All these different kinds of loans that were not your typical everyday loans. So I wanted to ask you, what is your opinion of atypical loans?
It depends on the buyer and their given situation. We do offer at my company a few atypical loans, but it just depends all the way around. One of them I hear of frequently is a conventional loan with zero money down.
Okay.
From what I see with that program is typically it's, you have to have a very high credit score and you're probably looking at a higher rate with that. So it's important to weigh all of your options. Sometimes the atypical loans sound really neat, but you might be in a better situation with just your traditional type loan. And you don't know until you just kind of evaluate that with a good lender.
So it's kind of another way for folks that maybe they have credit and they have income, but they can't necessarily show it in a typical manner. Mm-hmm. They do still have an option to get out there and they can get a mortgage.
Yeah, there's multiple different options for them out there.
That's fantastic. Well, hey, thanks for coming on the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
It's been a blast. we may just have you on every week.
Well, that would be fun. I'm
Right?
down.
There you go. All right. Thanks a lot. That's been this episode, and don't forget to drop your comments or your questions. If you have any questions about lending, we'll make sure to have Ashley available to answer those for you. Look forward to hearing from you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye-bye.